Today in this video, I'm going to go over my daily routine for trading Bitcoin inverse perpetuals, and I'm going to show you how I set up my trading view with the help of ATAS, which is an order flow program. So here's a brief summary of what we're going to go over today. The first thing I'm going to look at is the high time frame support and resistance, and I'm going to put in monthly, weekly and daily levels. I'm then going to shoot across to the fixed range and do a high time frame one and a low time frame one. I'm going to put in the session VWAP. I'm going to look for the previous day, week and month open, high, low and closes. That is mainly for scalp trading. I like to mark off especially the daily, but the weekly and monthly opens, and then I'll go and do fib retracements, a local one and a global one, and I'll also put in a .25 range to define my range. I'll then shoot across to ATAS and look for naked points of controls, and while I'm there I'll look for poor highs and poor lows, and also just check to see where the point of control is. If there are any single prints, I'll put them into my trading view chart, and then I'll go across to Bybit and look at the open interest and volume and funding, and I'll decide whether I've got a bullish, bearish or sideways bias. I'll then go to ATAS again and I'll look for divergences on the 15-minute chart to see if any big players have got big limit orders, and then I'll go down to the 15-minute chart and declutter my chart. For scalping, daily open and previous day levels are quite important. I'll then look for patterns. I'll write down all these levels and I'll plan a long and a short trade and set my alerts. Okay, so here we are inside trading view, and the first thing on my list is to put in my monthly, weekly and daily support and resistance levels. So I'm going to have a support level there, support level there, resistance level there. I don't see anything there. Perhaps the next one I'll put in is up here. Okay, to save time, I've put these lines in, I've made them purple and I've labeled them monthly. So let's put that into a new group, and let's call it high time frame support and resistance. Then I'm going to move all of these monthlies into that group. Okay, so now we've got our monthlies in the group. I'm going to go on and do exactly the same with the weeklies. So let's do a weekly. Let's just get rid of this volume and let's enlarge this so we can easily do the weeklies. I'm going to hide the monthlies while I do the weeklies. Okay, here you can see in yellow that I've put the weeklies above and below price. So I'm going to move those into that same folder that the monthly was in. And you can see that I've renamed them weekly. So there's my monthlies, there's my weeklies. I want to hide them all, I just do that. Okay, and here you can see I've done exactly the same with the dailies, and I'm going to move those into that same folder. And with one click I can hide all those lines. Got a neat little folder there with all my daily and monthly support and resistance levels. So here they are all being displayed, and don't worry, this chart is going to be full of lines, but when we go down to the low time frame, only a few of these lines will appear, and we will see which ones have the best confluence and then we'll just pick a few lines to trade between. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull a fixed range on the sort of low time frame chart. I'm on the 1 hour chart, so I'm more or less aware value area low, value area high, and point of control. I'm now going to go on to the daily and do a similar thing over there. So now I've got a low time frame fixed range and a high time frame fixed range. So let's hide those. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a VWAP and a session VWAP. So you can see there's my session VWAP. And let's hide that. Here you can see that I've marked the previous day, open, high, low and close, and I've marked them in white lines. So let's put them into a group and let's call that previous day. Okay, let's hide that. And I'm going to do exactly the same for the previous week and the previous month. So here's the previous week. So here you can see that I've done the previous week open, high, low, close. I've put them into a folder over there. So there they are. And let's hide that. Okay, and let's just to organize things. Let's bring the week below the previous day. Now I'm going to do exactly the same for the previous month. So let's put those all into a folder. There they go. Let's hide them and let's bring it down to there. Okay, so here you can see that I've got opens. I've got the monthly open and I've got the weekly and daily open. They're virtually at the same price. Okay, so let's hide that. The next thing I like to do is I like to use a .25 fib retracement, and I've pulled it from high to low. So there's my where I'm going to be looking for longs, there's where I'm going to be looking for shorts, and there's where I may scalp, but I certainly won't. I'll be very careful and won't enter too many trades at that point. Okay, and here I'm going to pull a fib from high to low, and all I want is the CC, and then I'm going to pull another fib locally from low to high, and all I want there is the CC. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go across to my order flow program called ATAS, and I'm going to look at the TPO charts. And what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for naked point of controls, and this is the daily, and here we have one here, so I'll make a note of that. There's no real other naked points of control above price. There are quite a few down below here, but they're not significant because at the moment we are in a bull run. Then I'll go across and do the same for the weekly, and I'll look for naked points of control in the weekly. Here is one here at 21,300, and here's another one down here much lower, so I'll make a note of that. Then I'll go across and look at the monthly TPS. And really the only significant one here is down at 16,555. The other thing I'll do on the daily that I failed to mention is look for poor highs and poor lows and single prints, and I'll make a note of that. So here you can see I've marked NPOX below price and above price, and I've put them into their folder in Trading View. You can see there's one right up at 40,000 here, but those are the only NPOX that are significant for me at the moment. Let's go across to ATAS and let's look for single prints. And here's a single print, and I mark the top of it, which is 23,327. I mark the top because price is above there, and when it hits there it will run down through the single print. And here you can see in blue that I've put the single print in. If there were other ones I would also put them in, but those are my single prints that I'm my single print that I'm going to use at the moment. So on the right here you can see how I've organized in folders my high time frames, fixed ranges, my previous day, previous week, previous month, my open fibs, a naked point of control, and single prints. If the single print has been traded through, then it is not significant anymore and I remove it. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is look at the funding. So I'm inside my Barbit portal, and there you can see the funding rate is 0.0245%. The sort of average is 0.01%, so this is a little bit high. Extremely high would be 0.07% to 1%. And with no negative, if it's a positive number, it means longs pay shorts. And the normal sort of average rate would be 0.01%. If that number were negative, it means shorts pay longs. And that tells me my bias is going to be bullish because of that. And then I'm going to go down and have a look at the open interest. Here's the open interest for the day. It's 527,229,314. And really that's a relative figure. You've got to look at it every day and see when that is going up or down. The 24-hour volume is 859 million USD, and a high number in a big bull market would, on this particular platform, would be 3 billion or so. While I'm about it, I'll just look on my ATAS order flow chart to see. This is the yellow line is the CVD, and I'm looking for divergences. Here you can see CVD is going up, price is going up, CVD going down, price is going down. So there's no divergence at this stage, which means that there are no big limit orders with insiders moving the market. Here's my open interest, and I can see the trend, exactly what's going on. And I do this on the 30-minute chart, and you can see the exact amount of open interest open at any stage. On my footprint bar, I can have a look at the volume. So for 30 minutes, this is pretty low volume, and we can see that the session delta is very positive, which means this is a very bullish, and all these things give me a bullish bias for Bitcoin at the moment. Okay, so let's go back to Trading View, and here you can see all these lines that I've put in here. That's pretty unhelpful. I'm on the weekly chart, but what you'll see is when we go down to the low time frame charts, you'll see that these lines spread out, and a lot of them don't come into play at the moment for our trading. So I'm going to look through all these lines and declutter this chart and just find the support and resistances that I want to trade at the moment. Okay, on the 15-minute chart, you can see I've decluttered somewhat so far, not completely. I'd really like that weekly level to stay. It looks like a strong resistance. I probably could get rid of this daily unless I'm going to be scalping. Here is my value area high, value area low, and point of control. I'll leave that. And you can see there's a lot of support down here. So all I really need to, this is a zone, I need to probably just leave one of these lines, and probably this value area low here, which is right between this fib retracement, is probably a very strong area of support. So let me do that. So going down to the even a lower time frame of 5 minutes, you can see the lines that I need to watch for day trading situation are becoming more evident. This daily is pretty important. So if I was considering a short up here, and would I consider a short? Let's look at the 0.25 fib retracement. There's the midline. Shorts only in this area, so we're starting to get into short area here. But if I were to take a short of the daily, I would go back to my order flow program, look at delta volume, and look for a swing failure pattern or a failed auction, and that would be my trigger to enter a short there, because this may just blast right through there and go up. So you need to look at reactions at each of these levels. But I wouldn't take a trade now. Perhaps what I would do is let's just set an alert for this 23,745. Okay, I've now got an alert set on that daily. And if it goes through the daily, then I'll come back to my computer and have a look and see what's going on. I can go and do something else until that happens, and I've set it so that the alert will sound on my cell phone. So I could look for a scalp short at this level, but the real area where I'd be interested in a short is up in this zone over here, just below the weekly. And I would only be looking for longs if it came right down to this area of support over here. So in the back of our mind, I've got a long trade and a short trade, and I'm going to look over here for a short scalp, and I will do that with the order flow. On the daily chart, I'd come back and look for patterns. I don't see any obvious Gartleys, head and shoulders, or anything like this. Perhaps this was a bump and run, which has already happened. And yeah, if there's an obvious pattern like a rising wedge or one of the Gartleys or so on, then I would draw that in as well. So here you can see on the 5-minute chart, there looks as though there is a swing failure in action, and let's see if that's validated. Not really on the 30-minute chart yet. So swing failure patterns on 5 minutes are not as valid as they are on the higher time frames. So let's see what the 1 hour chart shows. No swing failure pattern, but the chances could be that the lower time frames predict what's going to happen on the higher time frames. So I'll keep an eye on that. No trade at the moment. Set my alert, and I'll just watch this. I'm not overly keen on that daily because it is in the middle of nowhere, but I'd have a look at it for perhaps for a scalp short. You can pause this video and just take down the list that I use. Basically, there are lots of other things you could do, but at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is find the areas of congestion where price is likely to reverse, where everybody's got their stop orders, and try and get into a high probability trade, which means that the potential for profit is 3 or more times than the invalidation, where we will set our stop loss. I hope you learned something from this video on how to do your daily routine, and this is all done first thing in the morning or whenever you start trading, before you start trading. It is just one method, but hopefully it gives you an idea of the sort of thing you should be doing. So thanks for watching, and goodbye.